Everybody, Kyle Sasser here, and it's everybody's favorite time of the month. That's right, market statistics time. These statistics are for Pinellas County for August 2023. Now, to explain these statistics, we do have to kind of go over what specifically we are looking at. So we are comparing July numbers, because that is the most recent month that is closed, and we are comparing July 2023 to July 2022. And the reason we do that is because the natural year, those 12 months, there is a natural ebb and flow of homes being sold. So we look at year to year because that is a more dependable indicator compared to month. Since the market is kind of in a wild state currently, I do go into the month to month more, because it is kind of important to know where we're at and how we're shaping up compared to previous months. But you do have to kind of keep in the back of your mind that there is a natural shift just over that course of the year. And the obvious two things are wintertime, things generally slow down. Beginning and end of school year are also typically slow periods. So we're comparing July 2023 to July 2022. If you've been watching previous statistics video, kind of know the general consensus of what's going on, which is basically prices are back up after the late 2022 market die down, just to not put too positive a spin on it. But basically, end of 2022, last 6 months, basically not much happened at all so far as real estate goes. March 2023, buyers all came back and home prices have been rising. But there's been a little bit of a conflict because you would think with interest rates so high, they're 6.5% to 7.5%. It's kind of where they've been bouncing around. So with interest rates so high, listings actually growing, the number of active inventory actually expanding a little bit, you would think that prices would decline, but that has not been the case. So we've kind of been having those conflicting market indicators. Now, if you would like your own copy of these market statistics report to follow along with, there should be a link in the description down below. Go to the website. We have a PDF version, and we also have, brand new just this month, we also have just a web page version that you're able to access that has all of these charts and numbers and things of that nature. I try to provide as much information as possible to my clients, and this is a great way to understand what is going on in the market. Now, you might remember back to math class whenever we're talking about median and averages. So average is you would take the number of homes, let's say you have 10 homes. You take the price that those 10 homes sold for, you add them up, you divide it by 10, that gives you the average sales price. Median home price is a little different. So what median is that is the point in the market where there is an equal number of homes for sale for more money and for less money. So it's more of the midpoint of the market versus the average. Typically, I look more towards the median sales price to see what has been happening, because average sales price can be affected if there's a large number of very inexpensive or very expensive homes that sell. So for instance, if a handful of $10 to $15 million houses sell, that will have a major effect on the average sales price. Well, let's dive into these Pinellas County statistics. So if you'd like a copy of this, feel free. There's actually the third page here is a pretty good milestone recap of kind of the high points over the last 5 years, what the market has done, kind of the turning points, I guess you could say. So total number of closed sales in Pinellas County in July 2023 was up 3.4% from 846 to 875. Cash sales was up 2.4% from 289 to 296. Median sales price was up 7.6% from 450,000 to 484,000. Now, one thing I do want to touch on with that median sales price number, so that is slightly deceptive because whenever I say that, most people think that that was basically just a straight linear line from 450 to 484. It is not. So the thing you need to know about the median home prices, July 2022 was the previous peak, and it was at 450,000. It then slid over the next 6 months down to a low in January of $400,000. So that is a $50,000 drop in median home price in 6 months. From that point, so St. Pete actually kind of started showing this earlier than most of the rest of the areas of the country. Basically, they went from that low of 400,000 in January to now we crossed that previous peak of 450,000 in May, and we are now breaking entirely new records at 484,000. All of that within a year. So within a year, we dropped 50,000 in home price, and then we gained $84,000 back. That is a massive swing in median home price. The reason why that is possible, I will get into in the explanation. I will get into that in the explanations. Be sure to keep watching through the end of it. And I'll also kind of include a personal note. Average sales price was up 4.5% from $585,777 to $612,181. Total dollar volume, which I don't really pay too much attention to, was up 8.1%, 536 million. Median percent of original list price, which this one I do actually want to touch on the month to month as well, is down 2.6% from 99.4% to 96.8%. Early 2002, that was actually up to like 102, 103% easily. The deceptive part of this is, so we're at 96.8 currently. The low point was 94.4%. So again, that's reinforcing that drop in demand that we had in the last 6 months of 2022. Median time to contracts, and again, this one is super deceptive. Last year, it was at 10 days. Shortest it was at was around 5 or 6, if I remember correctly. Median time to contract currently is at 11 days, so we're basically holding. However, if we look at the record of median time to contract over the last year, we will see that we actually went from 10 days in July all the way up to 35 days in January. That is not buyer's market territory. So that's basically kind of like neutral market, basically slight seller's market. But yeah, since then we have tightened all the way back up to 11 days. Total number of new listings is down 28.8% to 959 homes. The thing to realize with that is, remember back to our closed sales number. So we listed 959 homes, but we've only sold 875. So we technically have added almost 100 homes to the active inventory. But if we compare active inventory now versus last year, we're actually down 30.3% to 1,349. However, if I look at total numbers, say last year, active inventory was 1,935. We peaked in November at 2,100. And we have basically sold through a ton of stuff, and we're down to 1,349. Now, we have built inventory since April, which is good, and we should continue to build inventory through the summertime, but it's not overwhelming. Hillsborough is a little bit different story than Pinellas, mainly because Pinellas usually leads, but by and large, still not as dire as it was in early 2022. Now, the doom and gloom section here, that's basically foreclosures and short sales. We had a total of 4 foreclosures, short sales in Pinellas County in July 2023, and a total of 1 short sale as well. So basically, that is nowhere close to being significant. Now, I do like to look at the different price points because a $1 million home does sell a little bit differently than a $300,000 home. And that is primarily just because the buyer pool is much smaller at that $1 million price point. So, number of closed homes by sale, basically not really anything going on under 100,000. 100 to 150,000, there was a total of 5 homes sold, which is an increase of 400%. I do love crazy percentages. 150 to 200,000 was a 44% drop, total of 10. 200 to 250, 8.3% increase to 26. 250 to 300,000 was down 8.2% to 45. 300 to 400,000 was down 9.3% to 194. 400 to 600,000 was up 2% to 310. 600 to a million was up 23.8% to 198, and 1 million or more was up 13.2%. Kind of interesting here because these numbers, with the exception of the under 200 mark, we had a couple that were drops of 10%, but compared to Hillsborough County, which was basically down across the board except for 1 million, I would say, Saint Petersburg is pretty obviously holding or accelerating, depending upon which price point you're looking at there. Median time of contract, again, is up across the board comparatively, with the exception of 200 to 250,000, which had a drop of 42.9%, total of 8 days. 250 to 300 dropped 10% to 9 days, and 300 to 400,000 dropped 20% to 8. And that's basically a result of the total number of homes for sale in those price points dropping significantly. Total number of new listings across the board compared to last year are down. Compared to July 2023, compared to earlier, we're actually doing a little bit better. For example, everything's basically 20 to 40% fewer new listings compared to last year. So 250 to 300,000 is down 37.5% to 55. 300 to 400,000 is down 42.3% to 202. 400 to 600,000 number of new listings was down 21.9% to 353, etc., etc. Total inventory by current price. So what this is last day of the month. We pull everything for sale in Saint Petersburg and then we split it up into price categories. So there was nothing for sale under 100,000. 100,000 was up 25% to 5. 150 to 200,000 was down 85.7% to 2. 200 to 250,000 is down 82.1% to 7. So under 250,000, there's a total of 14 homes for sale at the end of July. The thing to keep in mind here is this is single family homes only. This is not condos. If you were in that 250,000 or under price category, condos are really going to be the better bet so far as, buying a home in the area to live in. 250 to 300,000 is down 64.4% to 37. And that's not a lot of houses. And that's the entire county. So that's Tarpon Springs to Pinellas Point and the beaches, Safety Harbor. That is the entirety of Pinellas County, East Lake. There's a total of 37 houses. That is not a lot. 300 to 400,000 is down 57% to 180. 400 to 600,000 is down 33% to 393. 600 to a million is down 8% to 355. And million or more is down 2.9% to 371. So you can see even that 300 to 400,000 mark there's only half as many houses for sale there as there used to be last year. The sizable chunks of homes for sale are 400,000 or more. So that is the real estate market statistics for Pinellas County. Now, I want to go a little bit more in depth here on just kind of the stats, big picture, what we're looking at and all that stuff. Basically, there's two markets. We have homes that are in demand. Those are selling quick. Then we have other homes that are either not in ideal locations or have something else going on, or maybe they're just overpriced. Those tend to be hanging around a little bit longer. That's the only thing that really makes sense so far as why we're building inventory, even because we haven't had a surge in new listings. Buyer demand has come back. We do still have some properties that are hanging around for sale. Because I would expect especially Pinellas County, with that movement in median sales price, I would expect time to contract to be much, much, much lower. And you can also see that there's some division with the price points as well, but not enough to really be noteworthy. So now I kind of want to get into big picture stuff. I've actually pulled numbers all the way back to like 2006, 2007, just trying to get like root cause analysis, I guess you could say, of what are we looking at? When are things going to change? What's the actual cause? Now, demand has moved a little bit, a couple hundred in those years. Some years, so like if we look further back, like 2018, we were selling more houses than we are today, actually. And that's true for both Pinellas County and Hillsborough County. But the main difference is total homes for sale. And it's kind of similar to, it's easier for the market to swing crazily when there is not a lot of houses for sale. There is not enough buffer, and a small shift in what demand is doing can have a large impact on home prices, availability, and general feel of the market. So just for some example numbers, currently there are 1,349 homes for sale. Last year, there was 152 homes for sale. Year before that, 2021, there's 1,326 for sale. But if we go to 2018, and this is Pinellas County, in 2018, there was 3,122. So total inventory dropped by 50%. And if we go back further to when we were in the downslide after the Great Recession, we were up into the mid, like 500, 600,000 homes. Also, the number of new listings is also down significantly. So we usually had consistently listed 1,300 homes for sale. So July of 2014, we listed 1,386 homes for sale. 2018, 1,314. 2021, 1,425 homes. 2022, 1,343 homes. This year, we only listed 959 homes. That is a significant drop in the number of new listings. And in that time frame, the number of closed sales, which is the indicator of demand, 2014 was at 876, climbed to 1,195 in 2018. 2021, we sold 1,223 homes. 2022, we went down to 846, and now we are down to 875. So, and this is not just true in Hillsborough and Pinellas County. These general trends basically show up across the country. And primarily, there is low inventory everywhere. Now, if you look at a snapshot of number of new home starts, that is basically down everywhere. So if you look at the chart, you will see the Great Recession, and then you will see basically in the Great Recession, builders got wrecked. They had inventory they couldn't sell, and the number of new home starts plummeted. We'll put a chart up here so you can just kind of follow along. So absolutely plummeted, and then it has only been a very slow climb back out since. And my rough estimate, just looking at this, is we are maybe back to 1990s numbers on the number of new home starts. Meanwhile, there's a lot more people in the country than there used to be. Back in 2006, the rough numbers that I saw from the census was about 30 million people. And this is across the entire country. So the question I always get asked is, when is the market going to drop? The answer is, we've already had a drop. We had a retraction. We had 6 months of last year where I was begging people to go look at houses. It was a phenomenal time to buy a house. I was negotiating $30,000 price reductions and getting a ton of repairs on top of that. That shows up in that median sales price or percentage of original list price received number. You can see that it dropped from 100% down to 95%. So that was a phenomenal time to buy. But as you can see, when we just don't have the supply, any sort of demand coming back leads to rising home prices because there's not enough buffer there to keep things stable. So what's the fix for that? A lot of people think that, demand was going to get crushed, which it did for 6 months. I can tell you the number of buyers are back. They are definitely different buyers than they were before. Current buyers are definitely not looking to pull out all the stops, making like crazy high offers for moderate demand housing. But there are buyers, and that is moving the price. You would think that with interest rates being, 6.5% to 7.5%, that would do it. You would think that inflation would do it, even though inflation is more of a consumer mindset affectation on real estate than a numbers perspective. When we're talking about inflation in real estate, if you can get a loan today on a property, but you know that you're going to have high inflation for the next 2, 3, 4 years, you're actually saving money because you can pay for the mortgage using tomorrow's dollars, which you will have a lot more of due to inflation. One actual slight benefit of inflation is that it makes long-term loans effectively cheaper for the person paying the mortgage. Also, Florida, huge increases in property taxes just with where the prices are now, and also homeowners insurance has doubled or tripled in a lot of cases. And people see these things and they are still buying houses. The only thing we can surmise from this is these things are not going to kill demand, and barring some major economic catastrophe that brings its own alternate set of problems, usually you can't get a loan is the main one so far as housing is concerned. All of the factors are around that should be keeping demand down and prices stable or even slight decline. And that is not happening in the real estate market. And the reason why is because the supply is so short. So the fix, and to use a metaphor, think of it like the hot toy at Christmas. I'm old, so I'm not going to use the examples that I always hear. Cabbage Patch Dolls. I also remember Tickle Me Elmo's, Furbies. Past that, though, I don't remember. Leave me a comment below for your favorite toy fad. But so the fix, so if you have, like, the new hot toy comes out, PlayStation 5, that's probably the best recent example. So very short supply, gets released at Christmas. They sell out at the stores. There's not really any available, so prices tend to go higher because you have to be willing to pay a premium to buy a PlayStation 5. The fix for that is not making PlayStation 5s more expensive. The fix is pumping out more PlayStation 5s. The supply is what solves that problem. So with housing, we need to fix the supply problem to stabilize prices and, kind of eliminate this whipsaw, effect that's going on. The downside with that is, one, real estate takes a very long time to build. Tract builders, which can usually build it quickly, they're usually 6 to 9 months. And, we also have some labor issues and stuff going on. So single houses take a long time to construct. And multifamily, whether we're talking about 3plexes and 4plexes, or even large-scale condo and apartment complexes, which do help to solve this supply problem. One, those also take a long time to build, sometimes years. In the case of large-scale condos and apartments, that can be a 5-year process. We have a very long lead time to get those built. And the secondary problem is most people don't want those in their neighborhood. Just homeowners of single-family homes typically do not want multifamily built next to them. Whether it's right or not, that is the overall impression. And that's probably what this solution is probably going to have to be, because we would have to build so many single-family homes. And there's a lot of irritation and pushback on the suburban sprawl development. Just people don't really want to turn, the current existing green spaces into planned developments and single-family homes. And honestly, the time lead on that would be so long to effectively build that many houses that it's not, I don't think it's a feasible plan. So if we're looking at when's the market going to crash, barring some major economic catastrophe, supply is so tight with so few home starts that we are probably going to be like this for a while. like years, I would think. After having looked at these numbers, it feels like it's going to be this way for a very long time. So far as staying on the fence or waiting 3, 4, 5 months, maybe there will be a crash there at that point in time, I'm seeing absolutely nothing in these real estate statistics that would indicate that. There's definitely some areas that are lower demand than others. Also, I will say that compared to the peak of 2022, it's a lot easier to buy a house now. It's not the crazy free-for-all. Houses are not receiving 20 or 40 offers. If there's multiple offers, it's usually, 2 or 3 or 4. In rare cases, we'll be up around 7, 8, 9, 10. But there's been plenty of other cases where they just don't have other offers. The market's a lot different than it was in 2021, 2022. It's more relaxed, but you do have to expect to have some difficulty finding a place. The price is probably not going to be too appealing to you. There's nothing really in the statistics here that shows that there's going to be a downturn anytime soon. Basically, what we have done is prices have come up, and now it looks like they're holding, or in the case of Pinellas County, actually accelerating. So thank you for watching the monthly statistics video here. My name's Kyle Sasser with KW St. Pete. Would love to help you out. Would love to help you find your own great place in Tampa Bay area. There should be a contact me link down in the description below. Feel free to click on that. You can book a call at a time that works best for you. We will have a conversation about what you're looking for and how best to go about finding it. Other than that, hope you enjoy your day, and I'll talk to you soon.